guys, it's Shama Maher here, CEO of Scaling Retail, and this week we're talking about the true ROI of working with influencers. Now, what's really fascinating here is even though we all know from a social media standpoint that working with influencer collaborations are extremely important to gaining visibility of our businesses, we don't oftentimes execute them in the most efficient way possible. When working with an influencer, you'll be looking at a sales lift, a brand awareness lift, and ultimately you're going to be looking at finding the best ways to synthesize your product and brand with that actual influencer. More often than not, influencers are looking to have genuine experiences because guess what? That translates into genuine experiences with the consumer. So, the number one thing to know is the right influencer marketing techniques see an ROI of $6.50 for every $1 spent. And the top 13% of companies that are activating the most efficiently and intelligently in this marketplace are seeing an ROI of $20 for every $1 spent. So when I hear of brands telling me that they're unable to turn an ROI or understand the metrics around this, my question is, are you executing this properly? And are you actually looking for the right kinds of metrics? So there are lots of new intelligence companies that are out there, companies like Dash Hudson and others that partner up with a lot of brands to do the true ROI readings from a metrics and KPI standpoint. So even if you're a small business or a growth stage business and you're not really ready to invest in software or working with a bigger agency to partner up with influencers, how do you actually go about execution on that? Well, the one thing we definitely don't want to do is kind of see ourselves as Bill Murray did in Lost in Translation, selling whiskey in Japan, right? It kind of felt a little bit like an odd mashup, right? Why is this brand, partnering up with Bill Murray in order to sell this whiskey? Didn't quite understand the brand collaboration there. So when you're starting to look at opportunities to work with influencers, it's really not important here what the big reach is. It's actually not important how many followers they have or what their engagement is. What's even more important beyond all of those metrics has to do with how on brand the content is, right? Is this micro-influencer or super fan actually producing content and speaking to customers in a way that's in alignment with your own brand voice? All too often, I see big retailers that are going after huge influencer partnerships only to fall flat. Most recently, Rosario Dawson just did a campaign with H&M for their new conscious sustainability line. And that collaboration got a lot of backlash. Rosario Dawson is known for her company, Studio 189, which is actually promoting a lot of conscious and artisanal craftsmanship around fashion, and she's really done a lot to be able to pave that way. However, in this collaboration with H&M, one has to ask, does that really fit the brand? Is that good for her brand? So as you're looking at doing these partnerships, you have to ask yourself, how is this going to help my brand, right? What does this do to elevate my brand messaging? And is it ultimately going to land with my particular customer market? The genuine experiences portion of this has to do with creating activations that are real. We are simply beyond the phase of sending out gifting and product and hoping that someone posts about it. We are now moving into an era of product and experience collaboration. Influencers today are being seen as creative directors. They're being hired when it comes to producing content, and oddly enough, right, their aesthetic and point of view is now being taken as an opportunity to help tap into that particular visual aesthetic. So if a brand wants to be able to take on a certain look or feel or appeal to a certain demographic, they're now hiring influencers to help curate their entire content direction and their teams. This is a whole new concept. This takes it away from looking at influencers just as celebrities and starting to position them as cultural zeitgeist leaders with their fingers on the pulse. So at that level, it becomes even more important to understand what type of collaboration and ROI there is for you. Take, for an example, a company like Revolve. With the influence that they have, their discrete collaborations with brands, and even launching product collaborations with brands, it's easy to see how a company like Revolve has so much mass appeal across a variety of markets. As a small business owner or a growth stage business, you might be asking yourself, well, how do I compete with a company like that? And this is how you do it. Create authentic partnerships. Look at some collections further down the road. Pick a product that you want to collaborate with an influencer on. Make sure it's an authentic collaboration. So that means everything from the product design, how you're looking at choosing colorways, even how you're collaborating on the market launch. Make sure these influencers are a big part of that. You might even be shooting them for your campaign and then bringing in some of their friends and cohorts so they feel like they're a part of the business. Remember, it's not just macro influencers. We're looking at micro influencers and guys, even super fans. And when it comes to super fans, these means not just people who are out there building their Instagram profiles in order to land sponsorship deals, but people who are actually genuinely espousing the brand values, high purchasers, maybe they're consumers of your product, and there's something really in it for them on an emotional basis. Influencers are smart. They're not just looking for a free product. So dangling that in front of them, guys, is not going to get you very far. If you do find influencers who are willing to do trade posting for product and there's no compensation or contracts around that, be really wary of those negotiations and those deals because, hey, they could end up taking images, but those images may not look the way you want them to, or they may not take any images at all. So your gifting budget, as you're planning for strategies around influencers down the road, have also got to be a lot more narrowed and focused about how you implement them. All right, guys, that's all from us on launching influencer partnerships. Remember, on average, you should be looking at $6.50 ROI for every dollar spent. If you find yourself unsure of those collaborations or how to actually do those kind of content matrices, make sure you send us an email at hello@scalingretail.com as we work with a lot of brands on their marketing strategies, influencer partnerships, and calculating ROIs for your P&L. Talk about fancy terminology. In the meanwhile, check out our article on 2019 content planning strategies. Really important for you to understand the best ways to implement your social media marketing. And make sure you check out our download on how to use paid advertising in order to drive your social influence. Really important to kind of understand the loop-to-loop connection here on how you can leverage paid influencer marketing in order to help drive organic and social posting. Leave comments below. Hope to see you on Instagram at Scaling Retail. Otherwise, guys, see you later. Thanks. Bye.